Hi, everyone, and welcome to the In-Depth Genealogist Chit Chat Live Meet the Writer edition. And I'm so excited because I get to chat with Melissa Barker. So welcome to the show, Melissa. Hi.
Hi, Val. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. A little bit hot and humid, but that's all good. It's better than snow. So we're going to get started because I know you're on a time crunch tonight because you're doing a special webinar, which by the time people see this recording, you'll have already done that webinar. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started chatting, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so tell us about yourself. Tell us about your family, your husband, life in Tennessee, Ridge, Tennessee, your daughter, and I think a soon-to-be special package.
Yes, I live in Tennessee Ridge, Tennessee. That is in the county of Houston County. And I am married. I've been married for 29 years to my best friend and soulmate, Chris Barker. We are living on his family property. My daughter actually is the fifth generation to live on this property. My daughter, the only child that we have, Caitlin Barker Watson. She is 27 and she is married, been married now for about 5 years. And she is expecting our first grandchild. And I can tell you it's going to be a boy. And the boy's name is going to be Alexander Scott Watson. About
Awesome. Oh, that gives
she's
me
about 5
goosebumps.
months. She's about 5 months along, and so her due date is in October. So we are very, very excited about that.
I bet you are. Now, is that like a family name?
Actually, yes, Alexander is a surname from her husband's family, which was actually originally Alessandro. And when they came to America, I have the documents. They did change it, as we know. Sometimes it's a myth, but this time they did change it to Alexander to Americanize it a little bit. The Scott middle name is actually my husband's middle name.
Oh, oh, cool. Well, congratulations. We cannot wait to hear that big announcement and see a bunch of pictures, and your life is going to change, Grandma.
That's what I understand. I can't wait.
Yeah, good. Oh, you're going to be an awesome grandma, and she's going to be an awesome mommy. So good deal. When did your interest in genealogy get started, and where are your ancestors from?
My ancestors actually are from the North, but be quiet. Don't tell anyone down here in the South. I'm a secret Yankee. They haven't figured it out yet, so I'm good. But my ancestors are all from West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and then, of course, up into Maryland that way. Um, I got started in genealogy in the year 1990, and I remember it very well because that was the year my daughter was born. And I remember it very well because I caught the genealogy bug in a funeral home during a funeral. I don't know about in the North, but in the South, we have, where our funerals are, we have a day or two before the actual funeral that we have visitations in the evening. One evening before the funeral, we were at visitation at the funeral home, and it was here locally, and it was my husband's family, actually, one of his family members. And I was sitting there and, everyone gets to talking and reminiscing and all those things that you do at funerals. And I was watching this one lady, and she had a spiral bound notebook with her and a pen. And she was like sitting next to people and talking to them and writing things down. And then she'd get up and she'd go to another person and she'd sit down and she'd talk to them and then she'd write things down. And I thought, this is really strange behavior for a funeral. What is she doing? And so I was nosy. Yes, genealogists are nosy. I didn't know it at the time I was a genealogist, but I didn't even know the word genealogist. So I went up to her and I just kind of asked her, I said, "What are you doing?" And she told me she was a genealogist and that she was collecting family information from the family members because she had them all in one place. And so I
Oh,
thought that was a
oh my
fantastic
gosh.
idea.
That's the first. I think that's in all the years, that's the first that I've heard someone get started into genealogy because they're at a funeral or at a visitation.
That's what I did. And so she showed me her little notebook. And it actually reminds me, because then at that time there weren't, I don't think we had these, but it reminded me of our computer family databases that we have now, like Legacy, Family Tree Maker, except it was in paper form. She had people's names, dates of birth, dates of death, and just on to their children and their parents. And so I didn't even know why I wanted this, but I asked her, I said, can I take this home and copy it? I promise I'll bring it back tomorrow at the funeral. And she let me take it home, and I copied that. And that is how I started my genealogy journey. And I still have those copied pages that she let me copy.
Oh my gosh, that's like heart wrenching, really, because it's like, oh man, how cool is that? I know what I'm going to do at the next memorial service or visitation, because, or well, actually, too, the wedding is coming up, and take my binder there. Good idea. That's a good tip, Melissa.
It is. And I didn't even know it at the time that it was what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, then, doing the research, and you've gotten into your ancestors and on your husband's side and so forth. What then led you to become a professional genealogist?
Well, my husband owned his own business. He was an insurance adjuster. He was an independent, and so he worked from home, and he worked for several companies. And after our daughter was born, I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. I was like his secretary. And so I was doing that, and my daughter got older, getting to where she was pretty much doing things herself, and she didn't need mommy around as much. And so I was trying to think about going back to work. But I did so much enjoy being with my husband and working with him. I thought, what can I do from home? And my husband gave me the best advice that I have ever gotten, and I still use it today. He says, figure out what you love to do and figure out how to make an income at it. And so I sat down and I thought, what do I love to do? And I thought, I love genealogy. I absolutely love genealogy. And so I took an avid hobby and I turned it into a profession. And this was in 2004. And I started slow. I only started doing like obituary lookups and getting paid a little bit for that. I started real slow. And then in 2008, 2009 was the first pro-gen class, the very first one. And I was in that, and I graduated from the first pro-gen class. And I had people like Randy Seaver was in my class. He was wonderful. Angela McGee, he was one of our sponsors. And so it was a fantastic first class. And I don't even know what number class they're on now, but I just remember we were the very first. We didn't even do video chats. It was all typing chat and emailing back and forth our assignments and things. And so after I did that, I continued to start, because like I said, I started slow, and then I started getting bigger clients and things. And so I did that from about 2004 to 2010, and my life changed at that time again. Although today I'm still taking clients as I have time to do them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I have to thank you and all those. I remember when ProGen Study Group got started, and I remember then when Angela McGee took over the directorship and so forth, and now that's been passed on. She's still a director, but I guess the leader of the ProGen study groups has changed over to Rebecca Colford. But I am so grateful that you all started that study group, and I wish I would have been in that first group. But I was in 23.
Wow, they're that far ahead.
Oh, well, no. I think the one that's just starting is 35.
Wow.
Something like that,
That's
35. Great. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it's a great thing to do for those who are thinking about being a professional genealogist. I'm sure you agree. And those who are thinking about maybe doing something like that. And then it's also good for, don't you think, hobbyists that just want to up their game?
I agree totally because I am all about educating. One of my mottos or mantras, as you would like to say, is if you're not learning, you're not living. I try very hard to try to learn something new in my profession every day, whether that's an archivist or a genealogist, because there's always something new to learn.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just if people are going to do that, like ProGen, it's an 18-month commitment.
Yes.
But it's worth it. And
it's very much worth
you
it.
alluded to that, you had recently or at some point in time, your life changed from professional genealogist into something else. And that something else is the Houston County, Tennessee Archivist. So how did you land right into that?
That's exactly what I did. It actually landed right in my lap. It was not something I was looking for. It was not on my horizon in any way, shape, or form. I was actually minding my own business and doing my genealogy work. Our local librarian knew me very well, still does, because I spent many, many hours in front of the microfilm machine in our little genealogy room. And so she knew my passions and she knew my profession. And one day I get a phone call from her, and she asked me if I would be interested in being part of a group of people that had received permission from the county government to clean out and organize the records vault at the courthouse. Now, that I almost said no. And the reason I almost said no is because I was very busy at the time. I had many clients. Had a teenage daughter. I was helping my husband with his business. And so I almost said no, but I thought, this sounds intriguing. It might be interesting to do it for one day. Yes.
Yeah, this will be quick and fun.
Yes. And so in August of 2010, 6 of us from here locally, it was me who was the professional genealogist. The others in the group were from the Historical Society. And one lady in particular, and the reason that I actually blame her for all this, she was actually researching a murder in her family that happened in 1921. Her grandfather had been shot and killed on the streets in Erin, which is the main city here in Houston County, and she was writing a book about it. Could get the court records off of the microfilm, but she wanted to see the actual records like some of us want to do. She wanted to hold them and see them. Someone told her, okay, well, the records are in the records vault in the basement of the courthouse. You can go look at them if you want to. She went to the vault and she opened the door, which it was not locked and had not been locked for many, many years. And she could not get into the vault. Records and boxes of records were stacked and stored to the ceiling and to the door.
Oh, and so my word. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Houston County was formed in 1871, and there had never been an archives. The records had never been organized or preserved or archived in any way. So she put out a call for help. She got permission from the county mayor, and our goal that day was to just clean out the vault and organize the records so that they could be accessed. And so we met on that August day. There were 6 of us. We started dragging boxes out of that vault. And I can tell you some of the interesting things we found in the vault. We found old Christmas decorations. We found unused ammunition. We don't know what that went with. We found a murder, what would you call it? Murder paraphernalia, things that, some shoes and things that went with a case.
Oh, like an evidence.
Thank you. Yes, evidence. Yes. So we spent the first half of the day until lunchtime doing this. We decided to break for lunch. We went across into the court square to a little diner, and we sat there, and we all, because we have such an interest in history, we all had this look on our face like, can you believe what we have just seen? Because we saw all these records dating back to 1871 in such horrible shape. And so we started talking about the fact we needed an archives. And I was on board for that. Yes, we need an archive. Someone go start an archives.
Yeah, somebody raise their hand.
Yes. And so someone else makes the comment, well, we need someone to head this project up. Of course, nobody raises their hands. In fact, many of them put their hands under their legs and sits on their hands.
Yeah, sit down.
And and I did not raise my hand. But for some reason, all 5 of these people turn around and look at me and they say, Melissa, you need to do this. You're a genealogist. You have the experience to do this. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have any experience of being an archivist. And because, I work with them in my job as a professional genealogist like you do, Val.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been trained in doing this. And so little me, I say, oh, yeah, sure. Like I know what I'm doing. I say yes, and that started the journey. And so I like to say that our archives was started because of a murder in 1921. And it was started by a genealogist. And so all you genealogists out there, there is a place for you to lend your talents. And so look for that place to give your talents to.
Mm-hmm. That I get goosebumps. That's just, I love that story. I've heard it before, and I cannot ever hear it too many times. That is great, especially when you see the pictures.
Yes,
You've
yes.
shown the photographs. Maybe we'll do that sometime on an upcoming in-depth genealogist chit chat live with the panel.
Sure. But we've been an archives for 6 years now. I'm extremely fortunate because people are probably asking the question, well, how did you become an archivist if you were not trained to be one? I am extremely fortunate that I live in the state of Tennessee. And the Tennessee State Library and Archives offers a special program to their potential or incoming archivists called the Archives Institute. 3-year program where you are trained by the best at the state archives, and then you are sent back to your home archives to start the process.
Oh,
that's
I've
been very grateful for that.
I love Tennessee. I've not ever been there, but I've done a lot of research there. My favorite county is Shelby County, and my second favorite is Houston County. But I love the archive system and the Tennessee State Library and Archives. In fact, so much so, if it's okay with you, I'd like to screen share and bring up their website and ask you, that's my other question is, a tip or resource. So if that's okay
sure.
with you, I'll go into screen share mode, and bear with me here for a minute. And let me share with everyone. So can you see that on your screen, Melissa?
Yes, I can. And I will tell you that if anyone is researching Tennessee ancestors, the Tennessee State Library and Archives is, to me, the number one place in the state of Tennessee to work with, to contact. Because before I became an archivist, the TSLA in Nashville was my home away from home. I spent many, many hours there doing research. So.
Oh, yeah. And I've contacted them many times when I've had these various projects. And we'll put the link, the URL at the bottom of our chat here, but it's sos.tn.gov/TSLA for Tennessee State Library and Archives. And so you spent a lot of time here doing research.
Yes, and my most favorite moment at the TSLA was during the Archives Institute when I was attending. They have an ongoing Tennessee Supreme Court case program that they are trying to process all the Tennessee Supreme Court cases. This is a very large program because it's taking several years, because there are literally a whole floor of the building full of these records. And if you'll go back up to I don't know if it's on there or not, but the picture of the building of the TSLA, is it on the front page there?
Let me see. Right.
Yes.
Is this the Supreme Court cases?
Yes. That's actually a picture of the Supreme Court building.
Okay, so let me go back.
Yeah, but anyway, the top floor, the whole top floor of the TSLA contains those court cases. And when I was at the Archives Institute, we were given the opportunity as a teaching tool to work on the Tennessee Supreme Court cases. And that was absolutely fascinating. But they also gave us a tour of that floor. And we went up on the elevator, and when the elevator doors opened, I stepped out. And as far as my eye could see to the right and as far as my eye could see to the left, all I saw were shelves full of boxes of records.
Oh my gosh.
It was massive. I got goosebumps that day.
I got goosebumps too. Oh, well, they have the moving across the top. So I can't see a photograph of it. Oh, that's great. Getting kids. I'm a firm believer in getting that next generation started.
If you go to the top of the page, I will give you the tip, a great tip for anyone doing research in Tennessee. Put your cursor over the library and archives there.
Okay.
And you see Archives Development. Put your cursor there. And you see Tennessee Archives Directory. Go there.
Yes, ma'am. Ooh, there's that map.
If you would like to know about any archives in the state of Tennessee, this is where you want to come. The counties in blue are the counties that have an active archives, and you can see Houston County, which is just a little bit left there of Davidson, right there.
Right there. I'll click on it.
And you can click on the map, and then each county has their own special page that gives the physical address, mailing address, phone number, email address, who the archivist is, their dates and hours of operation. They also give you their physical holdings, which is usually a listing of the records that they have. And then some archive notes over there to the right talking about the founding of Houston County. And then you click there where it says microfilm records. It will take you see microfilm that in the middle.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Okay.
It will take you to another page where it gives you the listing of all of the microfilm records that the TSLA holds for Houston County. And they do this for every county on their directory.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's awesome.
So it's a few clicks to get there, but it's a very good tip for anyone doing research in Tennessee.
Now I want to go back to here we go back here. So up at the top, we clicked on the Library and Archives link and are hovered over it to the Tennessee directory. That brings us here. And so then you can click on any county. I happen to do Houston. Now, what does the green ones mean, Melissa?
Green ones mean that there's only a partial active archives, meaning like the county that's below Houston County, Humphreys County. I know that their problem there is that they don't have an archivist. Their archives is actually situated inside the library there, and right now they don't have an archivist, so they're considered partially inactive archives. And then the counties in white mean that they don't have an archives at all.
Oh my gosh. Well, good thing there's not that many. But then, okay, people, we need you to step up, volunteer, get paid.
That's right.
Get paid a little bit being the archivist so that, you're there.
A lot of times the reason that there isn't an archives is because of funding. Most county archives are funded by the county government, and if they just don't have the budget to do it or they don't see a need for something like that, you have to kind of convince them.
Right. I'm very fortunate to be in Minnesota, where there's an awesome County Historical Society museum and library, and the archives in it is incredible. It's like, just let me spend the night there. And then, of course, the State Historical Society, State Library, and the State Archives moved into one big, huge building in St. Paul called the Minnesota History Center. So but Tennessee is just an amazing state with all of the resources. And if I may, and can I interject another tip for you to share? Are the maps.
Sure, go right ahead. Yes, it's a great resource.
I love maps. And let me enlarge that oh, it's already on 125. So if I go any larger, it might take it totally off the screen. Nope, it's fine. So what would you recommend people coming to this page to do?
What, come down a little bit there on the page, if I can find, okay. Because these maps are usually separated by county. Go to the online collection. Do you see the little blue?
Yes, ma'am.
That right there.
Ooh. We only have, let's see, how many more minutes on my timer?
I know,
we have 4 minutes. We could be on this page all night.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can actually do on the search bar. You could search, just like put in a county name or even a city name sometimes. And you can find all kinds of maps. And they're constantly adding to this collection too.
Oh, look at this one. And then you can enlarge it and manipulate it to print. Let me, this first one back here, this one's of Memphis. You know, of course, another reason why I love Tennessee so much is with Memphis and Nashville and my country music roots.
Yes.
So, gee, I wonder if Garth Brooks has already had his genealogy done for him, because after having seen him twice, oh, would you like me to do your genealogy for you?
That's right. Can I show you one other thing since we're on this website?
You sure can.
Okay, can you go back to the front page?
Go back. Okay. And back one more. Or for people to know, you can always hit this main thing up here. It always usually takes you to the home. Okay, and where to?
Well, you actually went to the
Oops, I need to go to the Library and Archives page. There we go.
There you go. Okay, come down.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's still on their front page. Keep coming down and I'll find it. Well, they've taken it off of their front page. I want to go to their Civil War. They did a program during the was it the 200th anniversary? I can't remember, the 150th anniversary of the sesquicentennial of the Civil War. During those 4 or 5 years, they went to every single county and they put ads in the newspaper asking people to come out to where they were and to bring documents, photographs, artifacts, anything like that. And they scanned these items and took photographs of these items and put all of it online for free for anyone and everyone to see.
Oh my gosh.
And they're doing the same thing right now for World War I. Look under military research.
Military, yeah. So Civil War?
And I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm doing research while you're talking.
That's okay. Keep coming down. Let's see if we can find it. I don't want that. It's their special thing that they did. They usually had it on their front of their front page.
I know. I hate that when they update everything and change it, right? But that's looking back.
There it is. That's it. Looking back.
Ooh, see, you can find it. Oops, I have to click Adobe Flash. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Because it has
right. And then it's the same thing as the other map that we looked at. You click on the county. You can click on any county, and then it shows you. They didn't come to Houston County, but they came to counties around us. And when you will be here forever. I'm warning you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mentioned that Shelby County was my favorite. Let me click on Shelby County.
And to people that are listening that are saying, well, I don't have Tennessee ancestors and I don't have Tennessee Civil War ancestors. Well, this is something I'll tell you. They called for anybody and everybody with any kind of Civil War documents, photographs, or artifacts to come out, and they documented it. It did not have to be from Tennessee.
And that's
So,
important. That's another really good important tip. Just because something is mentioned about a specific state, or like in this case, they were reaching out to other people in other locations, and you can learn so much from another state's website or information, or even webinars. The methodology is about the same.
it is. And one thing I tell people about state archives, or actually any, especially larger archives, if they have a website, to me are kind of notorious for that. They're not going to put everything on their front homepage.
Right.
Have to probably do some digging to find things, but you're going to be so glad that you did take the time to look through their whole website, because there are so many treasures buried on these state archives websites.
Mm-hmm. And what I tell people is, like, this is a particular area within the website. Look around it fully. And then maybe another
Yes.
time, and that could take all day or all evening, all night,
Or longer.
or longer. But then do another part of the website on a different, search thing. Don't just keep clicking and you're bouncing all back and forth to various things.
And anyone who does Tennessee research knows that Tennessee became a state out of North Carolina. The entire state of Tennessee was North Carolina before 1796. So the Tennessee State Library and Archives have gone to great pains to collect information in their archives, North Carolina information, because it relates to Tennessee ancestors.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we could go on, but we're already over time.
Okay.
And we need to get you onto your next gig, so to
Next
speak.
gig.
Yeah, but both you and I will message some of these links to Terry O'Connell, the executive director of the In-Depth Genealogist, so she can put that at the bottom below the video itself, okay? And so
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, Melissa, for being here with me and sharing some of your time to chat about and meet you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Valerie. You've been a fantastic host, and it's always wonderful talking to you. You always make me feel at ease and easy to talk with, so thank you very much.
Oh, good. You're welcome. And thank you all for supporting and watching all these wonderful videos that we love to bring to you, and the Chit Chat Live series on the In-Depth Genealogist. So please drop us a comment below, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. And if you want, feel free to send us a short email at info@theinDepthGenealogist.com. And again, look for the links that Melissa and I've talked about so that you can go exploring and following the different links and go in depth on the websites and with your ancestors. Good night.